probably the best time that I can remember in my career to really get serious about investing in precious metals. If you're not invested in precious metals, you don't have to look very far to come up with reasons as to why. I mean, you've got a major conflict in Central Europe. You've got an inflation that's running at a 40-year high. You've got a stock market that's, sorry to say it, folks, it's in a meltdown. If you're still long in the stock market, I think you need to rethink your strategy. Cryptos hasn't been great, as we all know. So a lot of reasons, a lot of indicators to be looking at precious metals very seriously.
When faced with economic uncertainty, it's important to have the right plan to protect your wealth. Build your financial strategy using exclusive insights from globally respected economists at the 2022 StockPulse Silver Symposium, August 30th and 31st. Engage with a community of investors and claim valuable silver bullion prizes. Share in thought-provoking discussions on how to counter today's inflationary environment. Invest in your financial future today.
Welcome back to Inside the Markets, official podcast of StockPulse.com. Joining me today, I've got Mark Yaxley, runs SWP, Strategic Wealth Preservation down there in the Caymans here. So, Mark, I appreciate you taking the time here. You're a supporter of the last year's StockPulse Silver Symposium, but I don't think you ever got to actually make it here, did you? But I think this year here we're going to hope to have you here. So, good to join you.
I'm really excited, Rob, to see everybody. It's one of my favorite parts of the United States, actually. I used to go down there for the Silver Summit back in the day, Coeur d'Alene, Spokane. So a place I love to be in. Last year, they stopped me at the Washington state border. I couldn't get in. It was COVID, so that was a little bit disappointing, but really excited to see you guys again.
Yeah, and I'll look forward to seeing you here. So I guess let's just dig in here. Strategic wealth preservation here. You're into bullion. You're selling bullion. You know what all the games are in bullion. So let's I guess give investors here who are looking to maybe combat inflation, I guess a glimpse through your eyes of how you see conditions here.
Yeah, I mean, I said probably about 3 months ago, I said this is probably the best time that I can remember in my career to really get serious about investing in precious metals. If you're not invested in precious metals, you don't have to look very far to come up with reasons as to why. I mean, you've got a major conflict in Central Europe. You've got an inflation that's running at a 40-year high. You've got a stock market that's, sorry to say it, folks, it's in a meltdown. If you're still long in the stock market, I think you need to rethink your strategy. Cryptos hasn't been great, as we all know. So a lot of reasons, a lot of indicators to be looking at precious metals very seriously. And the physical market, Rob, I can tell you is very, very, very healthy right now. A lot of demand on the physical side. We've seen a little bit of conflict from the paper market, ETFs, a little bit of outflows in June and July, but we seem to have turned a corner. Gold price rebounded the last 30 days. Silver is following suit. So a little bit of optimism right now for all us precious metal investors out there.
Yeah, how's the supply chain looking? Orders getting filled, no problem there. I know there's some groups out there, Wall Street Silver, trying to get the squeeze going there. Is that being felt?
Supply chain overall is much, much better than it was, when we were in the thick of the COVID, the 2 years really where we were battling with COVID. Right now, deliveries are anywhere from, I would say, 1 week to 4 weeks, depending on the product that you're buying. So you will receive your product in a relatively short order if you're taking delivery. But one thing that kind of contradicts that is that premiums on physical products are still very, very high. Probably the highest I've ever seen on American Silver Eagles the other day were almost 70% premium above spot. Not necessarily a product I would recommend to our clients, but so that is a great reflection of a very strong demand for the supply that is available. But in general, delivery times are pretty good right now.
Wow. Well, let's fast forward here, and we're going to be talking here a little bit at the symposium. So what's the vibe here as you see it as we head into the new year?
Yeah, I think primarily for me, it's just being in contact with gold and silver enthusiasts. As we were discussing earlier, we live in strange times. People aren't really talking to each other. We're not as friendly. We're not connected. So for me, I think that's the benefit. I did a conference in Vancouver a couple of months ago, and that was, everybody was just happy to be together. And especially that we're like-minded. We're going to share some ideas. We're going to share information. You've got some great keynote speakers there. I noticed, David Morgan, Jeff Clark, these guys are legends in our industry. You're really going to benefit if you're an investor either on the mining side or just on the precious metals bullion side. So, it's going to be a pleasure. I think for all of us, we're all going to get a lot out of this and go home a little bit happier than when we got there.
And I know you're going to give a little bit of an education here to those who maybe aren't on board with the bullion, but why don't you take a minute here, Mark, and kind of give your personal philosophy on how you might play this precious metal sector, especially after you see the dilution of the dollar and all these other key indicators.
Yeah, I was asked a similar question not too long ago. I think when it comes to precious metals, you've got the mining stocks, obviously, which are a great way to build your wealth. Obviously, you can realize some pretty amazing gains in a good market from the mining sector. Obviously, you have dividends, the possibility of dividends as well from some of those stocks. So that's a great way to build your wealth. And I think when it comes to physical bullion, it's kind of the flip side. It's a way to preserve your wealth. So if you're creating wealth through the mining space and you're preserving your wealth through the ownership of physical precious metals over the long term, that becomes your long-term savings. It becomes your hedge against all kinds of crisis and inflation and all kinds of bad things that we're seeing right now in the world. That's kind of my personal philosophy, my wife and I's. And we're very, very comfortable at night knowing that we own physical metal and that it's going to be there without a doubt tomorrow. There's no third-party risk involved either, right? You remove all that because you own personal property. And that's one of the things most people don't realize. Physical precious metals is considered personal property under the law. So once you own it, nobody else has title to it.
Yeah, I think you make a good case there of especially with an out of control spending certainly by the U.S. government and all these fiat currencies. So I guess Mark, I want you to break into your model a little bit here and explain strategic wealth preservation to those who maybe just be joining us today.
Yeah, it's SWP. We call it strategic wealth preservation. It's a bit of a mouthful. We call ourselves SWP most of the time. Founded back in 2014, very niche business at the time. We were just offering our clients the ability to buy and store precious metals, physical precious metals with us in the Cayman Islands. Today, we offer the same product and services, basically the ability to buy and sell with us and store in vaults all around the world, including 4 locations in the US, up in Canada, Europe, Singapore, and New Zealand. So really what we give our clients is access to a global network of secure storage facilities with the ability to buy and sell in and out of those positions as needed. It's all physical. It's all fully allocated, fully segregated, which is kind of the old school way of doing things. But it works well for us. It works well for our clients. Like I said, we remove a lot of the risks associated with the paper market, a lot of the unknown, the fine print, all those things. So that's our model. Pretty straightforward, really.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time and give a little knowledge here, and I look forward to seeing you. And I'd have to think that you'd be a very busy guy right now with the world the way it is. So, Mark Yaxley, SWP, appreciate the time. I look forward to seeing you Spokane coming up.
Rob, look forward to meeting you in person. See you down there.